What's up, y'all? Welcome to Kingdom Cares. Me and my boy been contemplating on this for a little while now. We really just trying to draw souls to the kingdom. No matter if you're young, old, from the trenches, suburbs. We just here to try to do God's work. This is my boy Reg.
What's up, Kingdom Carriers? I'm Reggie, and today for our first video, it's gonna be like a little introduction video. Starting with my boy Aaron. I'm gonna be asking him some questions on himself and his journey with the Lord. But yeah, so we're gonna begin. First question I wanted to ask you though, Aaron, was again, give the people a little background story, about yourself.
Um, I'm Aaron. Grew up in poverty type of environment. Um, Seen a lot that I shouldn't have seen younger. But just grateful that God kept me in the midst of all that, and all that made me who I am today. And I feel like a lot of that allows me to be able to relate to a lot of people and still do God's work. I just think the way I grew up, stuff I seen, and uh, trials I had early made me who I am today. And I just can't thank God enough for just getting me through the midst of all that.
Okay. So let me just say this, like probably try to get like a little deeper into it. Things that you had, to battle when you were young, like the trials and everything. What would you be able to speak on certain things that you went through that changed your life and wanted to transform you into becoming a man, a God?
Not for sure.
Like what
Growing
led
up,
my fault. What
go ahead.
I
What
was
you were saying?
like like what led you to, change your life, transform you into becoming a man of God?
Okay, so well, first I always had a relationship, some type of relationship with God because my great grandparents like had was in the church, and at the time my mom wasn't really in the church. My mom was fro in the streets, doing a lot, and it was a point in my life where I was probably about in like sixth grade, so maybe like 12, 13 ish, where I see my mom do a complete 180 and start really working in God's favor, and like I'm talking like all habits change, like really walking the real walk with God, like not hanging with the same people, stop doing a lot of stuff, and really just I seen her completely change. That was the start for me. She was like a living example for how a person really is in the kingdom that's really serving. Because a lot of people try to be quote unquote so religious and do this and they see a light in church, but outside of church, what are you really doing? And my mom was a real example. Like her, I'm waking up to her praying early in the morning, like her getting deep into the prayer and stuff like that, really cutting out everything. So she was the prime example for me when I was younger. So I always had that relationship with God since a kid. But in the midst of after all that, we kind of stopped going. My mom backslid a little bit. A lot of stuff happened. One of the most tragic things that happened was me getting kicked out. When I got kicked out, I started hanging with the wrong people, getting into the wrong stuff. And a lot of stuff happened where I could have been in dead or jail. And God really just kept me. And that's what really made me completely want to lock back in with him. He really does do miracle works. And I just be thinking back, like, after all I went through, he still kept me. And that's one of the drives where I really try to live by him as much as possible. I've been trying to minimize my flesh and grow spiritually because if I was doing wrong, stepping for people that really didn't deserve me stepping for them or that wasn't really rocking with me like 100%, why wouldn't I step for God like that when he been there for me the whole way? So that's why I kind of been carrying it. But that was the transition after I went through what I went through. God was like me seeing that God was still there even when I wasn't living right was a major thing for me for sure.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. So another thing I wanted to ask you too, throughout your trials and tribulations, like, do you have like a specific scripture you use, to help you get through them or help you get through anytime you're going through something on a daily, like something to keep you going, something to push you that possibly can help
Yeah,
going through what you.
it's a few things that keep me going. I got a poster on my wall right here, Joshua 1:9. Be strong, and courageous, for the Lord is with you wherever you go. So just knowing, no matter where I'm at, what I'm going through, God is with me despite my situation. to not losing faith in Him. One thing that I live by is God give His toughest battle to His toughest soldiers, and He won't put you through anything He can't handle. You can't handle. So just knowing that, like everything that I'm going through, I'm knowing like it's meant to build me as a man of God, and it's going to be able to be a blessing to somebody else later down the line. That pain get turned into a purpose, and really just staying focused on Him despite my situation is major because it's showing your faithfulness to Him, staying committed to Him, and it's growing your faith. And you walking through the fire, and when you get out that fire, you're gonna be a different type of man of God or woman of God, whatever you're going through. So just really just staying grounded and not letting your circumstance dictate your relationship with God for sure.
No, that's deep. That's deep. And so, like, I know you were saying too, like, you started off, um, you know, with your grandparents, going to your grandparents' church. You started off, and then like you was going with your mom to church to start off. Like, who would you say they are somewhat like a role model to you on going to church, or do you have a certain role model you looked up to on starting your journey?
Um, my overseer, the old pastor when I was younger, the church I used to go to, he used to say, "Your kids don't do what you tell them to do; they do what they see you do."
Mm,
And seeing my mom walk out a real walk is what made me have the discipline, or one of the reasons why I have the discipline I have today. Seeing how faithful she was an example for me to really see like that. That's big. Once I started going to the church I go to now, um, my pastor, him just being real, being genuine, being transparent, letting us know like I go through stuff too. I mess up too. Like and really and he obviously grew tremendously, but like he had a past as well and he went through a lot himself. So him just being transparent drew me to him and him just seeing how he is with his wife and his kids gave me a role model to really look after like being a man of God and being a father and being this and I ain't a dad yet, but just all those things that he's doing in the church, serving and really, despite what he went through, still stepping day by day. It was big for me for sure. So that's one of the role models I got right now currently for sure.
no, that's what's up. Um, Shoot, definitely like I would say, for how you grew up in you know what I mean, because a lot of us, again, you young, but just the fact that you know what I mean, to start up to have this mindset, want to grow to become a man of God, like what could you say, again, will help others, man or woman, that's trying to grow to becoming a man or woman of Christ, you know what I mean, that can help them on their journey, as well as what, what I mean, the stuff that you've been through that helped you got through what you got through to becoming a man of God.
Um, Number one, one thing that I realize is God is after um, like the characteristics of you, but the personality of you can change. And I feel like the closer you get to God, he's a consumer fire. So the closer you get to him, your sinful habits, the closer you get, it start to burn off. So like when I first went back to church, I was still doing smoke. I was smoking and stuff like that still, and here and there doing whatever I wanted into, not having a real trying to live day by day how I was supposed to. But the closer I got, he just started convicting me of all the little things. So number one, really just staying grounded in your word and really trying to grow to get closer to him because he's gonna let you know for sure. Like when you getting convicted, that's like him being a father to you and like letting him know like we not on that, we can't do that. So just staying grounded in your word. Number two, not letting your situations um, discourage you or take away your faith, knowing that God allowed you to go through this. Because just because you're a Christian, that don't mean that all your problems is solved. Like life still life. We still got regular day to day problems. We still working. We still got this. We still got that. So not letting your situation discourage you, and also knowing like if you like the devil not about to really be on your bumper if you already headed to destruction. He's not worried about you. But if you change your life and he see that you can cause havoc in the demonic realm, why would he try to do everything in his power to reiterate what you got going on? So just knowing like I'm going through this because he's trying to do everything in his power to knock me off my pivot. Like in Job, they talked about how he was a rich, wealthy man, and devil like, I bet you if I do this, he'd turn on you. I bet you if I do this, he'd turn on you. So God like, go ahead, like you feel me, and just don't kill him. And he then lost all his riches, killed his wealth. His wealth was terrible. His health was terrible. Took his wealth away. And he still like was standing 10 on God, and I just think that's a major testament to like God knowing already knowing like that's like God bragging on you like do what you want to do. This is my child, this is my son, and he like do whatever you want to do, just don't kill him. Like he going to stand 10 with me. So just regardless of what you're going through, still standing on 10 with God and having faith in Him despite your situation is definitely key. And then another thing is just be yourself. Like a lot of people, I feel like they try to become Christian and make themselves quote unquote so holy and righteous that you're not even being real to like me being real how I am. I say how I am. So it'd be a lot of people that I talk to that grew up in certain environments that's able to relate to me because I'm keeping it a being. Like I'm saved. I'm Christian, but I mess up. I have to pray and ask God to change my flesh on a regular, on a daily, because being a Christian, this walk with Jesus is not easy. So really, just being real, being me, and trying to take this walk day by day with God, praying for discernment, praying have the ear to hear, and having the guidance and from the God my day, and just stand prayed up, stand in my word is really the key to really trying to stay locked in and growing because we can't do this. We only righteous because of Him. So just really just keeping Him first, making Him a priority over everything that we do is definitely one of the major things that I try to keep in mind for sure.
That's good, especially again what you said about just being yourself, because people out there like try to paint the picture as if like, oh, you Christian, like you got to be perfect. Nah, like it's not all about being perfect. You know what I mean? That's you missing a deeper point of it. It's all about building a relationship with God, getting closer to Him. So and just again coming to Him as you are. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that. But yeah, I'm just kind of this question is just kind of like a freestyle question. Because I'm pretty much finished with my questions. But again, like for the people don't know, but what I mean, you newly married, and again, your wife, you mean man and woman of God. Just for the married couples out there that are newly, married, what's some advice that you would give them to again, for them? What's some advice would you give to them for them being newly married? That's women and men of God.
Number one, keeping God the center. Um, there's not one person I talked to that been married for 30 plus years that said it was a cakewalk. Like it's not going to be easy, but keeping God the center is going to be the recipe to keep it going. It's going to be stuff that happens. Life happens. And one thing for sure, once you get married, once you say I do, the devil puts a target on your back automatically because he don't want that covenant with you, God, and your wife or husband, whatever. And staying grounded in His Word. Like I know God just put me through it was something that just happened recently. Off of me being disobedient. This is why it's so important to be obedient. It was a situation that happened to where me and my it was a situation where my wife she had lost her job, and in my head it was just one morning whatever she lost her job. You know me, I'm just being a man and just encouraging her, uplifting her, whatever. And there was this one morning where I'm laying down, and she had got to be the bathroom, and it was like I didn't at the moment I didn't know if it was from God or the devil. Like, and this is when I realized it. It was like God gave me, or it seemed like at the time like it was like revelation after revelation that was dropping in my spirit. You know how people overthink. It wasn't like I was
Mhm.
overthinking. It was like it seemed like this happened. Like it was like all dropping in my spirit. Like it seemed like this happened, this happened, this happened. This is why she got fired. And this is why she went to the store that day. And this is why that happened. Da, da, da. And it all like resulted to me thinking like, oh, she cheated on me. We had just got married, right?
Mhm.
Mind you, before that happened, it was this one night God had told me he was like, go read, like make sure you like read or whatever. He told me to read with her, and it was late. Yeah, just got into like a little argument or whatever. So I'm just like, God, I'm tired. I'm really not feeling it right now. Like, long story short, I didn't read with her. And within like that, I think it was like that next morning. Is when that happened. So God, I'm at work. Like God, I ain't seen nothing at this point. I didn't see nothing to her, and I'm just like, God, is this like was that you telling me this? Like what is that? What was that? Like I'm praying, and days go by. So I'm saying like, yo, I just got married. I just did all this for nothing. Like this happened now. Like I'm just like this. There's a lot going on, and God, I'm at work probably like a couple days later, like within 48 hours later, God had told me, he was like, when you're not obedient, this is stuff that like the devil has access to. And basically it was like a surreal moment because it was like God can take, not to say he'll do that, but like he is possible that he allowed that situation to happen to me because I wasn't being obedient. And I really feel like that was like a major point to me. So really keeping God first, listening to what he tells you, being obedient to him. I feel like being obedient is tough at times. Being obedient causes you to sacrifice when you don't want to. Like right now, prime example, he got me waking up at 5 a.m. to read and pray. Every morning, every Monday to Friday, at least minimum. And then just me just staying in my word or whatever. And how I've been carrying it, the way I got to that point was because growing up, I wanted it. I played basketball growing up my whole life, and when I got to college and stuff like that, it made me, um, it made me lock into another level. And I was getting up at 5 a.m. working out, doing multiple times the work. I'm doing multiple workouts a day and stuff like that. I was really locked in, and it got to the point to where I was idolizing basketball. Like I was doing more for basketball, locked in with basketball than I was with God. So it was to the point to where like you able to do this for basketball, but not do this for me. So now like God gave me that word. So it's like I carry my faith walk with God. How I was doing when I was locked in with ball. Like I get up at 5 a.m. now. At times it's tough. I get no sleep sometimes, but just me sacrificing and being obedient is major. Me getting those 2 to 3 workouts in a day. Now I'm trying to read and pray in the middle of the day, or just talk to him and worship him in the middle of the day and at night and stuff like that, or get home and read with my wife and stuff like that. So really just trying to stay grounded in my word, and be obedient was definitely um, one of the biggest things which you want to do, especially being a man of the house, being a man of the household. Um, you got to be obedient and allow God to lead because you can, us being men, we got pride, we think we know everything, but in real reality, God, the main source. So really just keeping him first and prioritizing him and allow him to lead and God what we tell our and how we got our family, like at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
then another thing is if you marry this woman knowing that you're the head, she's the neck, and you can't turn your head without your neck. So don't just think you know everything because you demand how you demand. Listen to your wife. You marry her for a reason. She should have some type, especially if you got a real relationship with God. Like listen to that woman for sure. Like allowing your wife to have some say so and to be able to have some input on your decisions as well. Listening to her, like you can make the final decision, fine, whatever, cool. But really, listening to your a woman of God is powerful, and she probably knows more than you at some time. So really not just being prideful and having an ego to where you think you know everything. Allowing God to work in your life, make those changes in your life is definitely going to be major in a marriage and you being the head of the household. Because another thing that I had to realize is that when you are the man of the household, you're responsible for your wife and your kids' spiritual life. Like if God was to crack the sky right now and we line up, like we're going to get held to the count of how did we grow our family spiritually, and we're the head. So if we're not doing that, just making sure we keeping God first, then that's what we're gonna get. I mean, at the end of the day, they still got a, a role to do too. Like they got to have a relationship. They got to have their own relationship with God as well. But we were going to get held to account of did we do what we were supposed to in our family with our family spiritually. So just knowing that too, just trying to carry it how we should as the man of the house, and really just prioritizing God is definitely important.
No, that's good. Definitely. I say the man really got a big, like a big role. You know what I mean? Especially being a man, husband. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? In the household. One thing I want to ask you too, is what has that brought you and your wife? Like, what has that brought y'all being obedient, standing the word, reading the word, being consistent, spending time with the Lord? What has that brought to y'all? You know what I mean? Just being obedient, listening to God, following God. What has that brought into y'all life, like individually, or like what has that brought to y'all?
It brought growth, favor when we didn't deserve it. It brought intentionality, us just staying focused on him. Like me, like I said, me being obedient, waking up at 5 a.m. It's tough. It's not always easy. It's tough at times. Like it's time like probably like within like a week ago, there was a time where I got in late, probably like 11 something. Took a shower, ate dinner. I didn't lay down until like 12 something. I couldn't go to sleep until like 2 something. So now I'm off 3 hours of sleep. Got to get up at 5 a.m. But stuff like that is what God sees the sacrifice that you're putting in, and because of that, He grants you favor. So really, just taking that sacrifice sometimes is important, especially you just when you are in a relationship, and you God has a purpose in your life. You being obedient, He honors you being obedient. So you just doing that, it grants like favor in your life. It grants you to have wisdom and grow. And it's been times where, and another thing is why it's so important to be obedient is because you never know. Like if God wake you up in the middle of the pray, you never know who may be needing that prayer. It could be somebody in the middle of suicide, like family going through crisis, whatever the case may be. God sent you to wake up and pray for them at that moment. You never know. That's why it's important to be obedient. So really, just having that ear to hear God, and really just listening and being obedient can be life changing for people. Just really
Mhm.
allowing your integrity with God, allow you to be obedient, is going to be major in your walk with Christ, because it allows you to grow and become man or woman of God that you're going to become, and allow you to walk and align you in your purpose.
All right, I like that. Definitely. What you said, being obedient. It not only will help you grow, but just your obedience, you praying can help others, and that's kind of what I like what you said about that. But yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I have today. Just wanna for ending the video, is there anything again would you like to speak to the people about again scriptures or advice that you would like to tell the people that could continue to help them through their journey?
Really, like I said, really just sacrificing, being obedient, not allowing your circumstances to dictate your relationship with God,
Mm,
knowing that He gives His toughest battle to His toughest soldiers, and whatever you're going through has a purpose. So when I got kicked out, and when I my heart became cold and I couldn't trust nobody, and I ain't wasn't talking to my mom or my dad, and I'm out here doing what I wanted, hanging with the wrong people. That whole situation molded me who I am today. And God, in that midst of me going through them trials and tribulations, God seen like this moment right here. Prime example. He's seen the times of me being able to transform everything I want to and use it for His kingdom. So now, when I'm serving Him, I'm able to be use like my testimony. Like I'm very transparent and I keep everything in being. So if I'm talking to you and I mess with you, I have no problem with telling you stuff that I went through, because testimonies really change and help people want to grow, and people see what God did in your life and they want the same thing. So really just staying grounded, and like testimony, like that's another thing. Like share your testimony. Like people have testimonies, and one of our jobs as us being children of God and drawing souls to the kingdom is literally drawing souls to the kingdom. Is we have to draw souls to the kingdom, and who are we to not want to save our friends and family? Like we that's for us to know the good word, and know what's going to happen, and knowing that people are heading to destruction, and not want to have the heart to change their mindset and be able to get an opportunity to make the best the change best decision of their life. It's like, why not want to do that? So I tell my testimony a lot. Being willing to tell your testimony, being willing to be transparent, being honest up front, knowing that we're not perfect, that we sit here just trying to do everything we can, minimizing our flesh and increasing spiritually. Us just staying grounded and don't allow people to dictate anything that you got going on, knowing that God has the last say. Like if you have problems in your health, we believe in the report of the Lord. Nothing that a doctor can say, nothing. It's just like we have the faith in God, and when you have the faith of a mustard seed, God can move mountains. Something that I went through. It's been times where it's been crunch time, where bills is due. I don't know where I'm getting the money from, but God come through last minute, and stuff like that literally grows your faith. So us just really just staying grounded in your word and keeping him first despite your situation is probably the best advice I can give, and really just seeking him daily and allow him to be the number one priority in your life, prioritizing him over everything. Because one of the problems I had in my walk was me idolizing other things. God said there should be no other God before me. So I had basketball was an idol to me. Basketball was a God to me. So God let me know be not like that. You're putting that before me. So now I'm just trying to do anything in my power to keep God first. Like no matter what it is, knowing like I have to do what I got to do to fulfill my purpose and align right with my purpose.
That's good. One thing that I picked up from Aaron was saying, again, just be yourselves. Be yourself. Stay obedient. And again, don't be afraid to speak what you've been through because you never know if whatever you went through could help others. So that's important. It's all about how to overcome it and just stand faithful to the Lord, and He'll get you through it. But
Mm,
yeah,
amen.
pretty much that's about it, man. For our first video, introductory from my boy. You know what I mean? We gonna end it with a prayer. So we just sit by. You want me to pray? Would you like me to pray, bro, or you want? Or you?
I'll close this out, and then next week, when next video, like he gonna be going next with his testimony and stuff like that. So he'll close out next call, and then we'll just keep y'all in the loop from there.
All right,
But God, I just want to start off by saying we are sorry for anything we may say, thought or did, Father, that wasn't in your name. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for keeping us protected and whole, Father. I pray you just put a hedge of protection over us and the people that's watching, Father. I pray that you just tug on people's heart, God, and draw them to your kingdom, Father. I pray that people just able just to see that it's more than life and want to chase after you and want to be everything they can for you, Father. I pray that you just touch people from the crown of their head to the sole of their feet, God. I bind up any spirit of anger, depression, or anxiety, God. I decree peace, love, and joy into their hearts and their homes, God. I pray that you're able to let them know that anything that they may be going through, Father, is nothing to you, God, and you able to get them out of any and every situation, Father. I pray that they just able to surrender to you, Father, and they realize that they can't do nothing without you, God. I pray that they realize that you're the main source, God, and they want to prioritize you, God. I pray that you're able just to keep them grounded and want to grow spiritually and minimizing their flesh, Father. I pray that you just keep them through this week, God, and have them want to chase after you and being obedient, Father. I pray that this message is able to touch everybody who it needs to touch, Father, and they be able to transform their heart and adjust their heart posture, God. I pray that you just put these people in a predicament to be able to be a blessing to others, God, and spread your good news, God. And I just thank you for all that you do. I pray over this podcast. I pray over the people that's watching, God, and I just pray for strength, wisdom, and courage for them. In the name of Jesus, God, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yeah. So again, bro, thank you, bro, for sharing. Getting a little personal. You know what I mean? Again, spreading your knowledge to help out others. Again, that's it, people's. Lord's willing, we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching. All right, stay tuned.
For sure.